name is Deborah Carpentry. I'm 35. I've been married for almost 15 years. It'll be 15 in January. I have 3 children. First one is Samuel. He's in 3rd grade. And our second one is Nathan. He's in 2nd grade. And then we have Anna, and she is 4.
Wonderful.
And she just started preschool this year, so she's in preschool.
So what brought you to Normal?
I grew up in a small town about 20 miles north of here, and Bloomington Normal was just where we always did our grocery shopping, clothes shopping. You know, we always came to Bloomington for doctor's appointments, and yeah, let's see, I went to school down here. It was a 2-year program. I became an x-ray tech, and then I met my husband. He was at ISU, and we got married, and we just kind of stuck around.
Very cool. So do you see yourself staying?
Yes. Yeah, at least in the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about Normal?
I like that it's big enough, but it's not too big.
Okay.
I mean, kind of a perfect example is the library. There's a lot of great parks. It's a great place for a family. It's small enough, but yeah, you can run to Target, you know, when you need something. And it's very close to our parents. My in-laws live about a half an hour from here, and as do my parents, so yeah.
How has the community changed over the years since you've been here and coming back and forth?
Bigger, so much bigger. I mean, I remember driving here when I was young, and so many of the cornfields are now subdivisions. So I would just say, yeah, it's gotten bigger.
And what's your favorite part about Normal? Favorite place to go?
Place to go. I like the library a lot, obviously. I would say I really appreciate the school district that my kids are in. They're in Unit 5. I really appreciate, we've just had great success with our elementary school. Favorite place to go? I love Uptown Normal. Yeah, I feel like I don't go anywhere for fun. It's more for running errands and grocery shopping and things like that. So,
can you think of your happiest moment?
Probably my wedding day, of course, and when my kids were born.
Why were those happy moments for you?
Our first son was born after we had experienced a few miscarriages. We had trouble getting pregnant. So when he was born, it was a relief and, you know, a celebration. And then our second son, Nathan, we adopted from Ethiopia. So probably the day that we first got to meet him after we went to Africa, and we were there for a little over a week. So the first time we met him, and then probably when my daughter was born.
Can you think of yourself before you were a wife and mother? Can you kind of remember?
Yeah.
So how have you changed? How has your identity changed from whenever you were?
Identity.
Yes. How have you kind of evolved?
Gosh. Well, I was born, I have a twin brother, so I felt like I've always been a half of something. He's kind of the other half. So yeah, growing up, we were always the twins, you know. I don't know. I would say I've probably gotten, I don't know, if I'm more outspoken. I don't think so. I've always kind of been, I don't know, a cute girl next door, everybody's friend. But yeah, it's just kind of shifted from, you know, daughter and then student growing up, and then I worked, and then yeah, wife and mother. So yeah, that's always kind of been my identity.
Yeah. What advice would you give some first-time parents? What would you tell them? What should they know?
Don't set your expectations very high. I mean, as far as just, you know, bringing that baby home and in life returning to what you think is normal, because everything changes. I think that was the mistake I made. Our first baby was, I mean, I think we went through the stress of miscarriage, and then we brought the baby home, and I think just that stress of having my expectations way too high, that he was just going to sleep through the night right away, and he was just going to be easy to get along with right away, and he was a colicky baby, you know, so it just you just kind of have to roll with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And go easy on yourself. There's no perfect way to parent.
You also mentioned your adopted son from Ethiopia. Can you kind of tell me a little about that process of maybe adopting him and bringing him back here, and maybe how he's acclimated to somewhere totally different?
Yeah. When we, thought about having number two, I just wasn't quite ready to go through that whole process again of trying to get pregnant. And, so we decided to adopt. A lot of other couples from our church had also adopted, so that kind of, we felt familiar with the process in that regard. So we just started looking into international adoption, into agencies, into countries, and Ethiopia at the time was an open country, and the process was working pretty smoothly. And so we just started that whole, the whole paperwork, paper trail, lots of paperwork. And so, it really went pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. We said that we were open to anything 0 to 18 months. And Nathan was 15 months when you get what's called a referral. Once have all your paperwork done and you're ready for the next step. So he was 15 months, and then he was 20 months then when we were in Ethiopia. And he's done great. He's just a go-getter, and he's just done super. He's in 2nd grade now, and he's done really well. He picked up the language really quickly, and he's very resilient. His parents were married, but his mother was sick, and they couldn't afford. It was just basically poverty. It was not a situation of like an abuse or neglect. It was just poverty. So then he came home, and it's just kind of like he's always been there. So.
And so you mentioned that you had a couple of miscarriages before, but you also mentioned your faith. And so,
Yes.
so can I ask you how did your faith kind of get you through a tough time like that?
Yeah, it was everything. Because at the time it just seems like a cruel joke. Like, oh, you're pregnant, and you make all those plans, and then all of a sudden you're just not. So it's very difficult when you get that news and you realize you're not pregnant anymore. My faith was everything in that time. I knew that the Lord allows everything to happen for a reason, and that all of this sadness had to mean something. It wasn't just all for nothing. And then when the second one happened, it was even harder because we didn't know, is this going to become a regular thing? Is this, just medically, what's physically what's going on? There's a lot of questions, and your whole future you think is wrapped up in having children, and then all of a sudden you think, I don't have a plan B. My plan was to have children, but if that's not what the Lord wants, then I finally just had to surrender that, whether or not I was okay, whether or not as a Christian, as a woman, as a wife, I was okay if I didn't have children. If it wasn't to be, obviously that's not the way it worked out, but to be able to surrender that. I had to get to that point. Yeah.
Did it make you stronger as a family going through that? Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, because we were pretty young. We never really gone through anything, or had to grieve any deaths. Really, both of our parents are still living, and all of our siblings. So we've never really gone through anything major yet. Yeah.
I ask, are you doing right now what you thought you'd be doing at this age?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Mortgage, minivan, kids. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
You are my first yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
You're my first person, if I ask that question, to say yes. That's awesome.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You are doing what you thought you'd be doing.
Yeah.
Screen.
Okay.
So what would you want whoever saw this video to know about you, or like lasting words that you might want to leave whoever is to see this with about you?
That I'm a Christian, that I believe in Jesus, and that means everything to me, and I'm very thankful for all the blessings that He's given me.